the title of your book, You Will Own Nothing, is tied to all of this, because this is a mentality not only that we see in democratic leaders in our own country, but at the World Economic Forum and sort of these globalist leaders who think this is our future. Explain it.
Yeah, so when I first heard you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, it's floating around Twitter, I just assumed that it was taken out of context because so many things floating around social media are. And when I knew what I knew of the World Economic Forum at that point in time is it's an organization that is tied to the business and political elite. So I was like, there's no way that that organization with that kind of membership is going to be predicting the end of private property by 2030. And in this particular case, Megyn, it took very little research to find it. In fact, you can go on their Twitter, I guess it's x.com now, feed and find this video. And that is the number one prediction that they have. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. And as somebody who's advocated for wealth creation opportunities for more than a quarter of a century now, I know that wealth comes from ownership. You have to own assets that have the ability to retain their value or to increase in value in order to gain wealth. So the idea that the people who are running businesses and running politics would be saying we're going to remove that opportunity was incredibly frightening to me. And then I started to dissect the language. The language is you'll own nothing. It's not will own nothing. The people who are making this prediction don't feel like they're a part of this wonderful outcome that's going to happen. So they're tipping their hand in just the way that they're putting it out there. And then the idea that you'll be happy, that you should buy into this carefree lifestyle where the government takes care of everything. Joe Biden is the man. He's going to take care of you, Megyn. And if you buy into that, then it makes it much easier for them to affect. They don't have to put it on you by force. But as you well know, as a student of history, the people who haven't had property ownership, they have been very unfree. They have been very unhappy. In many cases, they have starved to death and lost their lives. So the idea that we're going to have some sort of utopia where there's no property ownership, it sounds like one of the isms. Pick your favorite one: communism, fascism, socialism, whatever it is. But it doesn't sound like a free market, and it doesn't sound like the American ideal.
Yeah, why can't I just move to North Korea or China? I don't have to wait. I can just have it tomorrow if I just pick up my suitcase and move. So what is the vision? I mean, explain it, because this is stuff our mutual friend Glenn Beck talks about a lot, I know. But what is the vision? Why do they want us to own nothing? So that they can control us, so that they can stop us from eating meat, they can save the planet, we will get rid of our SUVs. This is just a camel's nose under the tent to control everything.
I think it goes back to the reality around history and human nature. The fact is that the United States has been the center of the global financial universe for about 80 years now. And so for all of us, for all of us here, we can't think of anything else. It seems like we've always been through this period of prosperity and, where we've had the upper hand and we've reaped the benefits. But it really is quite a recent thing. Before us, it was the British that were in that pole position. And before the British, it was the Dutch. So this is a cycle that changes throughout history on a, every several generation basis. And so, when you start talking about a new financial world order, which also sounds very conspiratorial, it isn't. It's sort of an outgrowth of history. And Joe Biden himself has mentioned this. He talked to the Business Roundtable, which is the CEOs of all the major publicly traded companies and biggest companies in the U.S. on March 21st, 2022. You can find this on the White House's website. And he says that the financial order shifts every few generations. And then he says there's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. And I'm assuming, since he was talking to that audience, it meant that him as a representative of the political class and the business leaders, and that they're the ones that are going to be in charge. So if you have a scenario, Megyn, where the financial order is shifting on a global basis, and you are people who are very wealthy and powerful, what do? Do you sit back and go, well, I just hope that this works out for me. I hope that, when things shift, I'm still on top. Or do you go, oh no, things are changing. We better ensure that we're on top, that we stay in power, that we retain all of this wealth. And, if that comes at the expense of everybody else not having it, so be it. But we don't care about that. We just care about our own power, myself, my cronies, and locking that down. And so I really think that that's the catalyst here. It's not necessarily that you have a cabal of people who are sitting around like Dr. Evil with, we've got to control everything. I think it's really driven by the basic human nature, that desire to hang on to the power and the wealth as things are shifting from a global basis. They see it coming and they want to make sure they're on top.
What do you make of this BRICS? Because this has been in the news lately, BRICS. It's an acronym. It's for a group of the world's leading emergent market leaders, including our economies, naming Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Yes. This sort of group got together recently and seems to be wanting very much to pose a threat to our role as the economic leader of the free world. So what should we be thinking about BRICS?
Yeah, so this is really a ragtag group of individuals. I've sort of compared it to Dorothy and Oz working with a Tin Man, a Cowardly Lion, and a Scarecrow. How do these people all, fit together? But what they were trying to do was they're trying to take down the all-powerful Oz that was controlling everything. And the BRICS, which was really an idea that came out of a Goldman Sachs research paper that came into this organization, they said they wanted to give themselves more of a voice and more power on the global stage. And what we learned out of their meeting that happened just over a week ago now is that they're looking to expand their group. So they have put out invitations to another sort of ragtag group of countries, which includes Saudi Arabia, Iran, the UAE, Argentina, Ethiopia, and Egypt. So they're really looking to expand their heft. And I do think that China is engineering a lot of this. Certainly countries around the world are frustrated with the US because, as I said, we've been at the center of the global financial universe. We hold the global reserve currency. And with that, the Federal Reserve is supposed to hold that currency stable because it means that commodities around the world are priced in, like things like oil and food are all priced in dollars. And so if the dollar shifts wildly, it has recourse for those countries who are big importers. So the Fed, who sometimes has to make trade-offs between keeping the dollar stable for our economy here domestically in the world stage, has done the amazing job of doing neither. Right? They've killed the purchasing power here in the United States. Your dollar is not stable against a bag of groceries anymore. And the same thing on the world stage. So you have these countries like China, who are huge importers of oil and food, going like, we can't do this. This is a threat to our own economic security and national security. And then you had something that the Biden administration, something that they undertook that I think is really the point of no return here. And that's when Russia invaded Ukraine. The United States led a coalition to say, Russia, you can no longer have access to your reserves. And so if people are keeping money in dollar reserves, U.S. treasuries and the like, and the U.S. can then all of a sudden cut off your access at their whim, that is fully weaponizing the power of the dollar. And what countries want to give the United States that power to just be able to cut you off from the money that you're storing in their currency, which, by the way, has given them a huge benefit in terms of cheap financing of the U.S. government. So there is this push coming from China to try to have less, not only reserves, but trade happening in terms of the US dollar. A lot of these countries have been loading up on gold as a mechanism to perhaps loosely back this trade. And the most significant development, of the ones I just talked about is really Saudi Arabia coming into that fold, which I think has a lot to do with the green push. We're trying to move away from energy. Saudi Arabia has been our ally and has been agreeing to price everything in dollars. And they've been plowing their extra dollars, which are considered petrodollars from the oil, back into U.S. treasuries. If we are saying, well, we don't want to do this long term, and China's a big oil importer, and some of these other countries, they want to get their footing secure, again, this is shoring up their own economies.
So where did you learn about money? Budgeting, saving, investing, and spending. If you're like me, it was not in school. My parents did the best they could. Not really on the money front. They did nothing. But now I want my kids to be better at money matters than I was at their age, which is where Busy Kid comes in. Busy Kid is an interactive money management app for kids and teens to help them learn how to earn, save, invest, and spend money wisely. It gives them real-life experience and allows parents to still be a safety net with approvals and monitoring. The more kids earn, save, invest, and spend on the app, the more they build healthy financial routines to use as adults. Busy Kid is great for kids and teens 5 to 17 years old, and everyone gets a personalized debit card to learn how to shop and how to manage invisible money. Busy Kid's offering a limited time special for my audience right now, 20% off a family subscription. So for less than $4 a month, this app and credit card can transform how your kids think about and use money. It's not exactly a credit card. It's like a debit card of sorts. To start, download Busy Kid and enter the promo code MK to get 20% off. Again, download Busy Kid and use promo code MK for 20% off. There's even a 30-day guarantee. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.